Okay. So I thought I'd get a number of our team together today, as unfortunately I was unable to attend the Sterling User Day in London last week. Um, but yeah, obviously it's a great opportunity for Sterling customers to get together, but also it's a good opportunity for Coliance to bring some of our customers there. Good opportunity for us to talk about what we're hearing from customers. Good opportunity for all of us to hear from product management, etc. So I thought I'd get the team together that attended, and just get them to give an overview of what happened on the day. So, guys, welcome. Yeah, the Sterling Day. We've been there many, many times. Yeah, what was this year like, and kind of what do we hear? Um, Chris, let's put you on Chris Falk.
Yeah,
Let's put you on the spot.
yeah, say Stuart. Yeah, basically, it's the sort of fifth or sixth time we've been down to the Sterling Day. It's been running for 10 plus years. It is quite financially system or customers orientated, and obviously, Coliance is traditionally been more of the retail manufacturing side, but we do cover the banks as well. So it's good to get insights in there. And we also try and direct some of the conversation more towards the non-financial stuff for B2BI, because it is a B2BI and SFG event. So that's great on that way. Lovely to see some of the guys who I've been working with for 20 plus years. Peter Schimmel was there, and a couple of the guys from early Sterling days turned up, Mahari and various. So yeah, from that side, it was brilliant. We had quite a few conversations at the beginning about how it's going, where it's going. It's great to see there's massive amounts of investment still going into Sterling Integrator. They appreciate that with all the investment, all these other things, and AI and everything, it's still there, and upfront. Plenty
I'm
of
guessing. Sorry, I'm guessing. Yeah, there was part of the presentation talking about the Web Methods acquisition, the Confluent acquisition, kind of where and how they're going to complement, the existing integration stack such as Sterling, MQ, ACE, Cloud Pak, etc.
There wasn't as much of that as last year, to be honest. There
Okay,
wasn't quite as
okay,
much front and center. I think it was very much B2BI is B2BI and SFG is SFG. It's great. Jeremy did a brilliant start to just a summary of a lot of the stuff that we've been reading for the last 12 months on LinkedIn. What do you do? No one knows about B2BI until 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, when something stopped happening, and then everybody knows what SFG is and what B2BI is. And he did a really good sort of a few minutes skit on
excellent.
that. That was really good. But yeah, no, good to couple of loads of demos, really good roundtable. The demos with AI and Bob and B2BI means
AI was mentioned.
surprisingly enough. Um, so, but yeah, applying Bob to SFG, which scared the bejesus out of quite a few people, but other people were a lot more receptive. Sort of the whole security side of allowing AI anywhere near your MFT system and finance data and so on. But I think it's the fact that it's got the ability to analyze all that massive amounts of data that's in there with an interface, anonymized data, and saying, right, yes, you've had an outage, but 37 of the messages were in flow at the time, and they need to be restarted, replayed, whatever. Was really good, and the fact that
Okay,
it's together in a couple of weeks was excellent.
that's yeah, it's really interesting. I've just been at an event just last couple of days, and yeah, obviously AI and Bob was a big part of it, but there's very much an encouragement, from IBM to encourage their customers to use Bob, but also to encourage the partners to utilize Bob. And obviously, where we've got our own solutions, I know we've been looking at how we can utilize Bob in some of those offerings. So, yeah, I think there's more to see there for the Sterling customers. And yeah, Andy, Rob, kind of, other feedback from people around the day. What side conversations did you have? What were the topics of of discussion.
Yeah. For me, it was interesting because I managed to sort of work the room a little bit in terms of, while it's quite a technical audience, naturally, these are users who get into the weeds of the technology. Just having conversations with some of the high street banks about how Sterling is so integral and it's not going away. Right, they're 4 years into an 8-year project. One of them was explaining, and they've utilised the partner network over the last probably 4 or 5 years to deliver these projects, and then they're being left alone. But they still need to dip in, right, via IBM and obviously can reach out to us. And so that was really interesting. And again, when Chris was on the partner panel, and this will segue into probably Andy and CJ, a couple of partners, but one predominantly was mentioning about where's my order and technologies around that, and building how do we search for different things. So they were talking, AI was obviously the common thread, but every time this certain individual was chatting, we were like, oh, and Andy and I were looking at each other going, oh, we might have something for that. Opsis. Oh, we might have something for that. Cosmos. So it was quite. It was a good bit, Chris, right? Because you were obviously sat there next to the chaps, and it was, for me, it just, I guess what we're doing is the truth, right? We're everyone's experiencing it. So it was that was one of the biggest highlights, I guess, I picked from the day, from my perspective.
And Andy, any other conversations around things that people were challenged by, things that?
You know what? The thing I really enjoyed was the round table and going between the different tables. So there was an IBM representative of each table with a different topic. One was security, one was new features, one was AI. But it's really good to go around and talk to the different views of the different banks and customers. Yeah. So, one was saying about the challenges with containers. I thought that was interesting from the early days and how containers have moved on from, it's more mature now.
Interesting. Because obviously you've done a lot of work with containers over the last couple of years, predominantly in the US. So does it sound like the UK?
I don't think they're quite there yet. I think speaking to some of the banks, they will adopt it, but I don't think they're there just yet. But I think it's certainly a strategy that they will all be looking towards in the future, and I think they've got to be fair with the advantages that containers bring. So I don't think it's there yet, but I think in the future they'll be adopting that container platform.
Excellent. And I know that we obviously presented on the day, and I know that the agenda was very much crammed, and didn't quite get the opportunity to talk about some of the areas that we're helping customers and IBM with. So do we just want to share a little bit around some of the offerings that we've built with IBM and that we presented on the day? So Chris, I know you've got a chance to talk about Avra.
I did manage to sort of fight with the Ferrari driving demo and the football AI football thing, and sort of suggest that people might want to come and see the partner demo. Started off with sort of 5 or 6 people in the room, but ended up at the end with sort of 35, 40 people in the room. When I was doing Avra, it was really well received, loads of questions, and the sort of quarter of an hour, 20 minutes allotted got taken up with questions and overrun by sort of 15, 20 minutes. So
what is Avra, Chris?
So Avra is a global mailbox light. It's certainly not a replacement. It's meant to complement customers who might be looking at global mailbox. We've got Avra in there. It's got all the features that people are using in global mailbox, and certainly some of the banks and everything who sort of looked at global mailbox and dismissed it for a variety of reasons were very interested and had some loads of conversations afterwards.
So why might someone need mailbox? Just at a very high level?
From an SFG or B2BI perspective, mailbox is central to quite a lot of the implementations that happen within that system. And if you want to have multiple systems for resilience, security, projects, etc., and you might want to synchronize between two systems, Avra's the tool. It's fairly niche, but global mailbox is also, you know, it's
niche.
Exactly the same thing. It's niche. Global mailbox is very expensive, very complex, but very good. And we try and cover everything with Avra in the same, but at a different price point, better price point.
Brilliant. And
Andy,
I
did also manage to suggest Atlas. Unfortunately, we didn't get as much time as we would have liked on Atlas, but we did manage to get a few conversations in. So I'll see you to Andy for that one.
It's great segue. Great segue. So Andy, it sounds like you've got to speak to some customers about Atlas, but didn't get the chance to present as such. So yeah, for anyone that missed those conversations, what is Atlas?
So Atlas is a subscription model for Sterling products, so Connect Direct, B2B, SFG. You don't need to have a perpetual license. You can just rent a license, and it can be stood up using, you know, we have three different tiers, bronze, silver, gold, depending on the workload that you want to get through. Or you can customize the architecture yourself, so you can pick out what database you want, how many nodes you want, and it can be completely configured and deployed in any region on any cloud or on-premise platform. And the idea of it is, for instance, if you've got something like Black Friday and you need to stand up a B2B or an SFG environment, you can rent the environment for that period of time in whatever region you want. And then it can be scaled up, scaled down for that period of time. Again, you know, or you've got a specific project in a different region, you know, so you've got something somewhere in Asia that you need a B2B or an SFG, and your existing environment can't handle it. You can stand that up over there, and we'll deploy it in a matter of, you know, not months, but weeks or days, very quickly. And then, you know, you can have that environment there ready to go.
And what you're talking about there in the bronze, silver, gold, really, that's the value that we provide, because obviously, you know, as well in terms of that support layer, in terms of how much support and how much management of that environment do you need, and we can offer you, you know, a tiered level of support, and you know, however much access you want us to have, or however much support you require across, you know, time zones, we can provide those tiering levels as well. So that's cool, and that obviously is a complement to, you know, our long-standing service, which is Agora. So yeah, who wants to just share kind of what Agora is in a very high level? All go at once.
Yeah, again, a lot of these customers with the big customers tend to attract the larger ones who have a budget for these types of events, I guess. But we do have an Agora managed service internally, and we represent those customers at these events. We can process their EDI, we can process their integration needs either on our own managed system. They can rent a system off us alongside Atlas, but we would give them the support to help them actually implement it over and above their licenses. We can look after their system. So if somebody retires or leaves, rather than getting new staff, we can take over that sort of support, and we look after their system for them and do everything. Or, you know, or we can just sort of just run the system for them from scratch, set it up, run it, keep it going. We do all sorts of flavors. If you want anything along those lines, then you know, come and talk to us.
Brilliant. And Rob, I'm going to throw you under the bus now, because you talked about it previously.
Yeah,
Opsis, yeah, obviously you talked about how some customers mentioned they were struggling with where's my order. Obviously that's the whole reason we created Opsis. Yeah. Any more you can share?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do the short version for this. But yeah, if you're thinking about operational visibility of an order, because it's probably one of the largest use cases, right, of it, or a message or something that needs to be a transaction. It needs to be seen and it needs to be monitored. And obviously, with the technology that sits behind it, which will be an IBM MQ, or it will be a B2BI or MFT, it will be a messaging transfer system that's doing something. Opsis will give you that visibility, whether you're a technical individual, whether you're a business operations individual, you can see where that particular transaction is in transit. Because with MQ, as we know, right, it will get there, it will arrive, but what happens in that flow, and is there something that's broken? And if you can get to that quicker than just waiting, because it's a critical transaction, that's where Opsis adds that layer of value. And then hearing it from obviously the others on the day, you think, well, maybe we can partner up. Can we talk to them about, look, we've got something that's already in flight.
Yeah.
Does it meet the requirements? So yeah, Opsis is, it's again, tool that we've obviously been building for the last couple of years, and it's looking pretty relevant in terms of the conversations we had last week.
Excellent. And
just in there, Stuart, one of the discussions that did end up on the panel was because what Opsis does, I mean, it obviously consumes events from all these systems, and that's what Opsis does. I mean, it gives you visibility, but it needs the data to give you that visibility and to be able to consume that information, that massive amounts of information, to get that little bit of information that you actually need on the day when something's going wrong. And one of the things is that a lot of these products now they're looking back and trying to surface some of these details, information, things into Kafka and APIs, and obviously AI to produce massive amounts of data. AI is great at consuming data, but not massive amounts of data because it costs money. So you still need products in that middle that will digest data, give you insights, and that insight then, if you wish, can go to AI. So it's a new level of discussion. I think that was something that we as Coliance sort of directed that conversation on the day. Food for thought for people, that it's not just about giving AI lots of data. It's not that costs money and it costs the environment and CPU cycles and all that sort of stuff. You still need to programmatically consume a lot of this data and then gain insight, and then that insight then is something that you can get most useful information in whatever means possible. Obviously, Opsis is a great way of doing that.
Cool. And CJ, thanks, Chris. I know you weren't present at the day, but obviously one things that we were hoping to present to some customers was Cosmos, a tool that you've been helping to design. Can you share just briefly kind of why we built Cosmos and kind of where it fits in terms of, obviously, you've got Sterling customers that have got SFG and they've got B2BI, etc. And that, as it's been explained, they're not moving away from that. But we feel that Cosmos can meet another market need.
Yeah. So what most people experience, certainly when onboarding, is that onboarding customers or partners, it takes weeks. And you find a lot of the development teams are fighting with various separate tools to try and get people onboarded. It's compounded even more when the onboarding partner doesn't really have an IT team, or in some cases doesn't even know how to spell EDI. So that's what Cosmos is for. It has all of these onboarding tools in one package that you can crack open and use. If you are connected into Cosmos and you have a customer or a partner that wants to onboard with you, they can be onboarded on day one. Their integrations aren't set up on their side. They have just started conversations with you around that. But your messages that you are sending up from your IT systems go to Cosmos. They are displayed as, it could be an order, touching with what Robert said earlier, or any of your supplies that's coming in, invoices, etc. And the customer can literally look on that portal and see them and interact with them against business processes that you, the customer, actually define. So we provided a workflow to help them with that, fully configurable and buildable by you, the customer themselves. We have provided a BPMN editor, so you can build your own business processes without ever needing to be technical. It's just point and click and wire things together. We provided a whole bunch of technical tools for message validation, etc., places to see all of these and work with them. We have a test environment, because you need to test this stuff. We give you a whole bunch of test data. What's the point of having a test environment if you can't actually have data to use it? And we give you a whole bunch of business processes for free. And we also give you a complete integration engine, again, point and click, so you don't need any technical knowledge, no coding required, which helps to hang not only all of this together, but can also help you connect into it with your systems if you are not just EDI. So if you are using Edifact, Tradercoms, X12, brilliant. If you're using iDocs, JSONs, XML, anything else, you can use Neural Hub, which is part of Cosmos.
Cool. I think great summary there, Chris. I think hopefully we've got over in this conversation that Coliance are the experts for Sterling and SFG and EDI and MFT and so on and so on. We've been around 25 years and actually more in helping customers with these challenges. But we've also, as gold partners, we've also taken it an extra level. So we're not just service partners, we're not just support partners, we're actually developing complementary offerings and solutions. So Atlas, Avra, Opsis, Cosmos, Agora, just to name a few. So if anyone would like to find out more about those, get in touch with any one of us. We can give you more information, provide insight, or if you're just generally after some help in your Sterling environment, give Coliance a call. For now, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate your time. I'm sure our customers and other customers will see more of us around, and thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, Joe.
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers.